You have just tuned into the worst internet wrestling talk show in the world. It's the Wrestlingus Show. I'm Cav Manning.
I'm Fausty Walnuts.
It's season 2!
Lingus 15.
And here's everything that's going down in pro wrestling. TNA
Impact
report. The Bound for Glory series is finally over. And thank God everyone's cheering. It's done with. We're sick of it. It's been months of a nightmare. AJ Styles won it. And guess what? AJ was 6th place if it wasn't for Hogan and his buoy rules saying, guess what, brother? Next week we're having a gauntlet match. And I say gauntlet with these two little fingers going like this as quotation marks.
K5 yet?
K5, because this is not a gauntlet match. This is a Royal Rumble, but he can't say that with his Rip 'em Blue Impact t-shirt, by the way. So AJ actually gets ahead of everybody else and wins this whole thing. Like I said, shouldn't have even been in the first place.
Hey, listen. AJ predicted he was going to win last week. And what happened? He won. And what did Austin Aries predict? Which also came true. He predicted that us fans would be the real winners.
Bellator has pulled Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson out of this whole entire TNA thing because of their fight coming up, actually, on November 2nd. Let's shove that down everybody's throat. The funny thing is they pulled them out because they don't want their contracted players getting hit with hammers in the head and causing them not to have this pay-per-view coming up.
They're not in on it. K5.
It was surprising to actually see Gunner on the show this last week instead of just a guy in the background that you never even heard from.
Hey, why do they even call him the modern-day Viking anyway?
Because he never wins. Anderson has been exiled from Aces and Eights, or as Hogan liked to say, Aces of Eights, because he doesn't know his own product. Nonetheless, he gets exiled because he dare go against Bully and have a title shot, which was an actual good match. So what happens at the end of this? The rest of the Aces come down and dismantle him. And what was more disturbing than anything of this is Knox gives him the kiss goodnight, which is a Wyatt family deal. And if that's not bad enough, they give him a triple power bomb like they do in the Shield. Just straight stealing gimmicks, if you will.
Hey, they should rename themselves the Eaters of Justice.
Hey, that's a good one. But anyway, now, you know, Anderson's out, so he can go on his own. And his contract just came up, too. So it's like, maybe he would go, but we hear...
Follow the hounds.
All right. So, you know, we thought maybe he'd go somewhere else and sign, but I guess he's re-signed with TNA, so we'll see if he's in the title hunt. He changes back and forth a lot like Big Show does.
Hey, believes in the buzzards. No, see how I threw an R, like the cat's catchphrase? And
You just, this is your contributing to the show?
What?
You're just gonna steal catchphrase, really?
Yeah.
You're really gonna steal catchphrases, really?
Like you're just stealing the Miz's right now.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you gotta admit, this segment was awesome! It is now time for your WWE report!
Night of Champions. Let's go down a list about why this pay-per-view sucked so much dick. If this pay-per-view sucked any harder, my fucking television would have came.
So the pay-per-view starts out with Triple H in the ring cutting a 15-minute promo. I didn't spend $50 to listen to him cut a promo.
You spend a 50 fucking...
As I was saying, if I would have spent $50 on this pay-per-view, I would have been pissed.
The IC title is forced to be defended when it was, oh, it's a shock, it's Night of Champions, the IC title's not on the line. Let me think of another opponent for you to wrestle, and then have to wrestle Punk later. Why wasn't it just a match against Punk for the IC title? Another buoy logic.
And speaking of unadvertised matches for a pay-per-view,
Night of Champions. Remember, this pay-per-view is called Night of Champions. You have to be a champion to be in this pay-per-view. Fucking assholes.
Miz versus Fandango. Why? And on the backside, for what?
They're getting out of character for this pay-per-view already. This is like, what are they gonna do next? Survivor Series with no elimination matches? Oh yeah, they already fucking do that. Here's another buoy thing. Paul Heyman gets in the ring with Punk after he beats Axel. You know, it's shocking.
Big surprise.
Yeah, you know, don't fall down when you hear that. So, he gets in the ring with Punk, and what happens?
He's tapping the whole time.
Why does this match continue? He tapped. It's over.
He even told the ref, I'm tapping.
RVD versus Del Rio, a fine match and the shittiest ending ever. But he takes a Van Terminator, Del Rio that is, and he is out and dead. Where's Sandow at?
Maybe he's not an intellectual savior after all.
The easiest cash-in ever, and he's nowhere to be seen. Let's go over the polls, shall we? That's gay. Let's guess, who is the best tag team of all time? Oh my god.
Road Warriors?
Who could it be? No,
Demolition?
no. It can't be. They weren't even on the list.
Fuck.
There's so many teams so far ahead of them. 47% DX, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H.
Fuck.
The Bulldogs got 3%.
Ooh. Hard Foundation, were they on there?
Fuck. They're not even in this fucking category, for God's sake, because, you know, DX, even, meanwhile, the Outlaws should have been better than them. How about best champion of all time? This one, I won't even bust balls about. Everyone can say, you know, Hogan was probably the greatest. You know, and Austin was like second. Rock wasn't even on the list, which is bizarre because they suck off the Rock so fucking badly. But here's the topper of all of them. Who is the greatest world champion of all time? I said,
Ric Flair.
it's gonna be a landslide for Flair. Booker fucking T. He's the only one who agreed with this list.
What? Well, because he was a five-time?
Five times. Never mind, what, 13 and all that fucking bullshit. So, you know, fuck you guys at this buoy logic poll, because there is no way in hell that this poll is real. I don't believe it's a voting thing at all. And they did the best U.S. champion ever, too. Sting won that one. Hearing Sting's, you know, name on WWE TV, you can bet your bottom dollar, like goddamn Annie, that you will see Hogan and Sting on this WWE programming by WrestleMania 30. I'm calling it now.
So to sum up Night of Champions, how many titles switched hands?
1.
And what happened the next night on Raw?
Apparently, Daniel Bryan, he gets stripped of his title by Triple H because he saw a fast count by who was the referee?
Pound Hardbody Ref.
So he pulls him into the ring and they discuss things, and then what happens?
So the ref whispers to Bryan, hey, I think they're onto us.
This causes all hell. Triple H is like, hey, I heard that. You're dishonest. Bryan has no clue what the hell is wrong. And so he says, give me the belt back, give me the belt back. He doesn't want to do it. Oh, boom. Orton shows up, kills him, blah, 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 blah. So we have no champion, which is shocking because it's almost like Triple H is going from good guy, bad guy, but it's still obviously that he's a dick because, you know, this is a bullshit whole thing. My whole little Iggy when they showed the backstage stuff where he had to let Armstrong go and he had to fire him was that he had told him earlier, hey, this is what you need to do. Take the blame for doing a fast count so we can get this title off him. And I'll pay you handsomely, you'll be taken care of. Because it was like, he wasn't pissed off at him when he fired him, he just said, I'm going to take care of you. Why would you take care of him if he was the one who was crooked and made your company look like a slob? So that's where I think they're going with this one. And now, the latest in the Cody Rhodes saga.
So Stephanie invites the American Dream back to Raw, and she gives him the Sophie's choice. One of your kids can have their job back, but which one will it be? Cody or Goldust?
I think this is a very easy choice, and it's another buoy logic thing. Because Goldust had his run for how many years? Cody has just started out. Goldust is much older as well. So even Goldust wouldn't be pissed to have Cody get his job over him because he was just fighting last week for his brother's job.
But never mind that. So Dusty can't decide. So Steph gives him another choice. Either you get dismembered by the Shield, or you get knocked the fuck out by the Big Show.
See, now here's one thing I agree with Stephanie. Sometimes you just have to do what's best for business and what's best for the fans. Sorry, Faust.
What?
So we got the new Paul Heyman guy out there, and it was Ryback from the pay-per-view the other day. And Paul, brilliant on mic as usual, goes out there and talks, and then you realize how good he is because Ryback then speaks. Best part about this is Paul all of a sudden just going in and saying, I love this big beautiful man, and giving him a kiss on the cheek. Even Ryback, I don't think, was expecting it and laughed from it. You know, what do you think about this whole situation? And finally, to end the night, there was Daniel Bryan out there versus Roman Reigns. And of course, everyone starts interfering. The whole Shield jumps on Daniel Bryan left and right. And what happens? The entire locker room now come to Daniel Bryan's rescue. They've had it with this corporate regime, it seems. So it's like, what's going to happen? What's going to be the ramification? Is everybody going to get fired? Meanwhile, you know, you saw, you know, Zack Ryder out there and Justin Gabriel So it's like, well, what do they care? They got nothing to lose in the first place. They should hope they get punished so they have more matches and more TV time. So that was all that happened this week. You gotta be excited now. Wrapped up or not, look at this guy. It's a rejuvenation machine almost. It's time for the Meat Twitcher.
Rock the cradle of love. Rock the cradle of love. Yes, the cradle of love. Don't rock easily.
There it is! Knocking off Brooke Tessmacher after multiple weeks of a winner.
3 weeks in a row she had won it.
Summer Rae looking good with a belly showing and everything top notch. Oh, yeah, the whole middle was showing. It was beautiful. I call it a belly. You don't have to be a fatso to call it a belly. So anyway, we'll give her her due, if you will. Cap off. And I'll mark down this way. And there she is with a beautiful 4 spot. Before we go, I wanted to tell all the indie fans that are around the Northern California area, or what is it, Central California, I guess. Modesto, Sunday, September 22nd, PWB presents Warriors Rising. And they'll have such stars as TJ Perkins, and everyone knows him. Manic will be there, as well as Joey Ryan will be there. So check that out if you are in the area and you want to see some good wrestling at a very decent price, of course. So in honor of Summer Rae, we want to do this together. We're assholes! Stop this pig.